What is a mobile website and why is it important? Well, I'll answer the question immediately. A responsive website is basically a mobile website. Responsive technology is, at this point, pretty much the industry standard in how we build mobile websites. But before I get more technical about it, let's talk about mobile websites and why those are important. Somewhere around 2013, internet users using mobile devices has overtaken traditional desktop computers as the way they browse the internet. So this means mobile browsing is now the new standard that we have to pay attention to when we're building websites. As a matter of fact, 55% of web traffic is coming from mobile devices, and it's even more now because it's constantly on the rise. Now I ask again, why is that important? Well, it's important because we need to give our users an experience that will make them stay on your website. User retention is king. The longer you can retain a person on your website, the more likely they'll be to become leads. And the more leads you have, the more you can convert into customers. User retention is king. And how do we keep retaining these users on our website? By giving them a positive user experience, or UX as we call it in the web design world. There's all sorts of factors that go into a positive user experience, but it all boils down to serving the content and the functionality of your website to your users in the way that they want to consume it, in the easiest way possible. We don't want them to work for it. So, what really is responsive design then? Responsive design is essentially websites that adapt to their environment. Whether you're on a desktop computer or you're on a tablet like an iPad or your smartphone, the website will adapt itself to fit any of those devices and serve the content in a way that's easy for the user to consume. In the illustration here, you can see that there are 4 pictures all in a row at the bottom of the site. When you go to a tablet, it becomes 2 rows of 2, and then down to a smartphone, it's 1 single column. And this is all happening dynamically as the size of the browser you're using changes. And all of this is done with the magic of the code behind the website. Now let's look at a couple of real-world examples. Here we have Howard's Cleaning Service. Somebody searched for a cleaning service, and this is the one they got to. Now, if you came to this website as one of the 55% on your smartphones, this is what you would see. It looks exactly like the main website, only really, really small. All the text is so small you can't even read it. Your call to action is buried in there. And then the menu. You couldn't navigate this website without putting a lot of effort in. You got to be pinching and zoom in all around the website to even consume any of this content. And that's what I'm talking about. We want to make it easy for the user to consume your content. This is making them work for it. And because of that, you might lose them to another cleaning service that does have a good user experience in their mobile website. Now let's jump over to another one. This one is a blog website, and it's got a lot of content. You got your menu across the top, you got search, you got the newsletter sign up, all kinds of ways for them to buy stuff from your website, and then the blog itself in the middle. Lots of stuff on this website. When you go to it as one of those 55%, this is what you see. The text has been enlarged and sized so that you can read it on a smartphone or a tablet. You got your buttons, they're enlarged so that they're meant to be pressed with your finger as opposed to your mouse pointer. There's space provided in the hyperlinks so that you don't accidentally tap the wrong one. It's a good use of space because they've collapsed up the menu and the search options and most of those other things. So the reason the user came to the website, the blog, is right there and easy for them to consume. But of course, user experience is not the only reason we want to have a good mobile website. There's a couple other reasons. Adaptive mobile websites are the old way of doing mobile websites. This was actually having 2 separate websites. A lot of times you'd see it at mobile.whatever.com. And without spending a whole lot of money on expensive technology, you got to be managing 2 separate websites. Sometimes even the content of 2 separate websites have to be managed here. It's very difficult. And that's where responsive design is great, because responsive websites are the exact same website regardless of what device you come to that website with. It just dynamically changes itself to look different on all of those devices. And lastly, and definitely not the least important, is that Google now penalizes your non-mobile websites in their mobile searches. So again, if you're one of those 55% and you're searching for something on your smartphone, your non-mobile website is going to fall way down in the search results because Google wants you to have mobile websites because it is now the new standard. Google even gives you this really awesome little tool here where you can plug in your URL and it'll tell you if you have a mobile-friendly website. Awesome, your page is mobile-friendly. So in summary, responsive websites are the new industry standard for mobile websites. They adapt to their environment. So every time a person comes to your website, they're going to have a positive experience and you're going to retain them longer on your site.